Hi, how are ya? My name's Beta, and today I want to talk about the phenomenon that is the furry profile picture starter kit. You probably have no clue what I just said, so I'm going to explain things with a question. You ever been on social media, specifically within the furry sphere, and come across someone with one of these profile pictures? All of them depict a simple fursona, generally a fox, wolf, or dog, the most common furry fandom fursona species, with a simple color palette and character design, and especially the art being downright phenomenal. You can tell how detailed and refined that art is. It looks great. But here's the thing, and I hope I'm not the only one who feels this way. It's not the first time you've seen this art before. And the biggest giveaway for this is if you go and look closer at the art piece in question. It looks very grainy and pixelated. Like you can tell it's been posted and then screenshotted over and over and over again till you get the lowest quality possible on what could have been like the highest quality art piece. And maybe for some of you who are very perceptive, it's gotten to the point where you recognize that these profile pictures are usually associated with someone who's new to social media or new to the furry fandom, or both. I mean, it could be both. Generally, it's both. You might find one of these accounts with a profile picture. It's got like the user furrylover4263. It's got like 400 following, 12 followers, and it was made 2 months ago. And that's when you realize there's no way that this person owns the art in that profile picture, or made it to begin with. But that art piece has become part of what is known as the Furry Profile Picture Starter Pack, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's furry art and drawings that have become so popular and spread throughout the internet that they've been reposted and re-uploaded and screenshotted over and over again to the point where we don't even know who the original artist is. I never knew what the furry profile picture or I'm new to the furry fandom starter kit was supposed to be. Like I always associated that profile picture, at least art around that type, with like two different types of people. One is like the younger kid who's new to social media and also new to the furry fandom, doesn't have a fursona or anything associating themselves with furry, so take whatever furry art you can find off Google Images and paste it in there. That's your placeholder fursona for the time being. It was either that or furry haters and like anti-furries who were really dedicated to like infiltrating the furry fandom in order to like drop a slur 2 months later. But originally I didn't know where this art came from or what this art was to begin with until I saw this meme, which is someone choosing an Xbox profile picture based around 8 different furry profile pictures that have been stolen and reused over the years. After I saw that meme, it all clicked with me, and the idea became so much more hilarious to me. Like the fact that this art has become so profound and popular, and it just shows up in Google Images and people are like, this is mine now. I'm gonna use this. This is my profile picture, my fursona. Like, it's just funny. But it's also sad if you think about it, which we'll get onto that. Because low-key, I kind of had the same generalization process back when I was on the Xbox playing Halo competitively. I know, I was that sad when I was like 14 years old. But what I would do is in like a free-for-all lobby, when I was waiting for the game to start, I'd go and check out everyone's Xbox profiles and see whether or not they were going to be a challenge to go up against in the game. Like I'd check it out, I'd see someone with like a low gamer score, low profile rating, with one of those default profile pictures like the dog or the monkey or that black skull with the orange stripes. If I saw one of those, I knew I was gonna pub stomp. But on the other hand, if they had a higher gamer score, a high rating, some semblance of like a biography, and then like their avatar was their profile picture, I knew I was gonna have a little bit of a challenge. It was very sad for me to do, I will say that, but it was a very viable strategy. I could very accurately pinpoint someone's skill level based on their profile, which I wouldn't say is about the same here because there's no skill level with regards to social media or the furry fandom, but I'd say you can very much generalize what the profile is based on the icon or profile picture. And that's what the Furry Profile Picture Starter Kit is supposed to showcase. And you know, as useful and viable of a strategy as that might be, the core concept of it being a Furry Profile Picture Starter Kit based on this art is kind of sad because it's very much stolen from someone else's commission or someone else's art, and the original artist isn't even being credited for it. I'd see it time and time again where someone would post that meme and no one would know where the original art came from. So that's why one day I tweeted that exact meme and in parentheses asked, hey, who made these? What's like the background behind these art pieces? Why do I see them everywhere on like Furry Amino and Pinterest? And that is what inspired this video. Today, I want to break down the concept behind the Furry Profile Picture Starter Pack, and I want to talk about the history behind the meme. I hate that I just said that. The sad reality behind this situation, along with how we can potentially make it better as a community. So there's a bright side to this whole thing. It's funny, it's sad, it's got your whole story. It's like The Notebook. So let's start with the meme, as all things on here do. Yay. So the meme itself is pretty straightforward, and it always features some variety of different profile pictures made by the same artist that we still don't know yet, or some variety of artists that we know we've seen somewhere online if we've ever looked up furry, but can't pinpoint where. I found all of these separately on a Google search, but only 4 have I found for who the original artists are. So the green husky, the brown fox, and the turquoise or teal fox all were made by Fanshuhai, the artist on Fur Affinity and Twitter. Fanshuhai, I think that's how you say their name. They actually replied to my post giving some detail as to how they were made. I'm the artist who made these icons. These were old commission works back in 2013 to 2014. I'm happy to see my old works are getting a lot of attention. My mistake was not putting any signature on my old artworks. If I were an artist in this situation and my art was being thrown about on the internet and no one knew who originally made it, I'd be pretty salty, not gonna lie. Let me just say, Fanshuhai, you have the patience of a saint having your shit stolen and posted around on the internet without any proper accreditation, or it getting to the point where people don't know who made the original art. It's very frustrating. I would personally be very frustrated. But the fact that you're still happily talking about and explaining who made the art pieces despite it probably being asked multiple times over and over again is very commendable of you. They also talked about how the art was stolen and drawn over or traced and then sold as like merchandise on Amazon, which, yep, that's pretty yikes. I know I joke about it from time to time about if my YouTube channel falls over, I become canceled. I'm just getting a shit ton of furry memes that popped off and I'm going to Redbubble and I'm selling them for income. I know I joke about it because it sounds pretty funny. It's not good. Don't do that. Don't steal other people's art. I have no water here. This was my mistake. I did this to myself. As for the other meme with the Xbox profile pictures that Bluefulf showed me, I don't know any of the other ones besides the one in the bottom right-hand corner is by an artist known as Fleur. But as for the 4 other profile picture options, I don't know who made those art pieces. I tried looking around and researching for the past week and couldn't find any names or couldn't find any association to other artists. And desperate times call for desperate measures, so that's why I decided to look up furry art on Google Images. The keywords that I used were furry, art, drawing, artwork, insert any animal here associated with the profile picture, and I kept scrolling through until I found what I was looking for. And let me say, even with safe search on, looking up anything furry related on Google Images is the most unsavory, unholy thing you could possibly do. Just don't do it. Don't ever go to Google Images with anything furry in mind. But I went there with the intention of finding the artists for those other art pieces. As much as it might be from like 2013 to 2014 for most of this artwork, it's gotta be easy to find. And lo and behold, it was. After about 15 minutes of research, I found every single one of those art pieces on Google. But it's just kind of crazy to see how easy it was for me to find those specific pictures with just a couple of furry keywords. And I'm assuming most other people around this age demographic, like young kids who are new to social media, new to the internet, and new to the furry fandom, but want to partake in it, I'm assuming they're going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be looking on Google Images for furry artwork and finding whatever works as a placeholder for their account profile picture. And I think most people do not really care if they do that because that's just what you kind of do with limited resources. I know that because I used to be in sort of that Tumblr teen era, back when I was really obsessed with Digimon, so I just kind of went to Google Images, I looked for whatever art piece or whatever art I could find of a specific Digimon that I liked at the time, and made that my profile picture. I also feel like based on a lot of the replies that I got on the OG tweet of people saying, I used to have that profile picture when I was young, I feel like that's more of a common thing that exists. I know it's an assumption, but a lot of people that use those profile pictures or steal or reuse things that they find on Google Images are really within that age demographic that I just described. They're just kids. As I was doing all this research, I was going through all these different furry artworks and art pieces and profile pictures that were very distinct and different, but very, very high quality and very good art. I was wondering why specifically these art pieces were the most used ones. And that's when I started finding some similarities between all these profile pictures within these memes and starter packs. But I think it's just that it's one of the older profile pictures that has the quality that it does. And it's not even just the art quality, it's also just how the design of the fursona and the colors are very simplistic. You gotta think of it like a kid who's new to the furry fandom. You know, they want to make a persona, they want a character, they want someone that represents them. And when they're given the option to create something, not everyone's gonna go with, you know, a rainbow that throws up on a fox and that's the fursona. And I feel like it's safe to assume that simple colors and simple designs are more attractive to people newer to the furry hobby. I don't know how factual that is. Again, most of this is going off of like, dude, trust me. But I feel like if you're trying to ease into the furry community, especially with everything that seems overwhelming as it is in the furry fandom, like fursuits, furry artwork, friends, that's why some people will take the green husky and roll with that, either as a placeholder or something that they might be inspired to have as their future persona, but obviously taking inspiration from that art. Whether the art is a placeholder or it's something that they're potentially inspired by to have a persona similar to. So now that we've covered what these furry profile pictures are and the artists behind them, I want to discuss why it's more of a bad thing than you might think. I know it's funny and all to joke about how this art is just used over and over again. It's like, haha, it's part of the furry starter kit. But within the artist's perspective, you know, you worked hard for this art piece and it's very, very good. And it got so taken up by the internet that pretty much it owns it now to the point where you're not even fully credited for making it to begin with. And whenever someone asks who made it, you gotta come in and clarify. It happens to me all the time where people will just take fursuit photos from me, fake being a beta account or something. Do I want them to do that? No. But is it worth the effort and mental space to worry about it? Not really. But I do have one potential solution specifically designed for the furry fandom. And it requires a fair bit of community contribution. Because like I said, there is still this core issue of those who are new to the furry fandom and new to social media that might be overwhelmed and might not know where to start. Especially if they're trying to get their footing but might not have a persona or might not have decided on it and want some sort of custom character as like a profile picture or icon or banner. They want something to somewhat represent themselves for the time being. And this is sort of my galaxy brain idea. What if instead we create an actual furry profile picture starter pack that is supposed to be of characters that are completely unnamed, there are no set personas, that are just public domain that can be used by anyone? It's kind of similar of a concept to like Vincoli. He's supposed to be like a fursona for the furry fandom. He's just a public domain open source character. Why not apply the same thing to specific artworks? You know, obviously it wouldn't be a profitable venture, but I feel like it would be somewhat beneficial. I know especially that fursona creation is a really rough thing, especially at a young age, because despite so many tutorials and ideas being out there, it's really hard, especially when you're trying to make your first character. You want them to be unique to you, but you also don't want to like jump into it and worry about, oh shit, I gotta change something now, but I don't have any money.
I'm a kid.
Why would I have any money? Who am I supposed to commission for this? So this might be a good potential placeholder or a good start. And obviously we'd want to still credit artists. That's why, you know, you leave a watermark or, you know, you associate this art with this set artist. So why not have some sort of actual furry profile picture starter pack? And I'm serious, this is a trend that I actually want to start doing. I want this to be an actual furry fandom trend, and that's kind of the part of making it like the default profile picture starter pack. Even if you make it, there's no chance that it's gonna like pop off or be as popular as like art pieces that are already there. But I'd hope with this level of like push and like networking that we could potentially have it as popular as that, or at least be a good starter. My goal potentially with this is to have a bunch of artists hop on this train and eventually, you know, this art be recommended in like Google Images for like the first thing you look up when you go for like green fox or like furry art or fursona art. So maybe this is a good idea, maybe it isn't, but I think it's honestly worth a try. And hopefully by doing this, we can have a little bit less of an unsavory experience in Google Images. And also my only request is that you potentially have a life jacket version for one of them. That's all I'm gonna ask. But either way, that's the mystery behind the furry profile picture starter kit and what we can potentially do to stop stuff like this from happening. Hopefully you take mind to what I said in this video. And also a big shout out to Than Shuhai and all these artists who helped me figure out, you know, who the artists were, which granted, you know, letting me know that you're the artist of a thing is kind of neat and cool, so I appreciate that. And I highly encourage any artists out there to take up this potential challenge, you know, have some artwork that is like potentially free to use for like an icon or like a profile picture or a placeholder for like an account or something. I don't know. It's a social media account. It's not gonna hurt anyone. I say that now. but it might. But either way, that's the mystery of the furry profile pictures starter kit. I'm really glad that we could have this conversation and figure out, who these artists were and potentially what we can do to sort of make the community just a little bit better with regards to this issue. And if you liked that I talked about it, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments. If you want to help support me with more videos like this, be sure to check out my Patreon. Any amount helps me tremendously and will go directly towards any videos that I do like this in the future. So if you want to support what I do, check out the Patreon. If not, you're doing just fine and I appreciate you for being you. But either way, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there and especially stay life jacket. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Yeah.